Hello, I'm here to show you how ZevBit's all-in-one construction management software will transform your business. Let's jump right into it here on the proposal page. As you can see, this proposal is extremely professional. It has a cover page, has an About Us page with information about your company, past projects to show the client some past jobs you've done, and then it breaks down every single line item for you. All of these descriptions are automatically written for you. The pricing is calculated based off of your materials, labor, and profit, which I'll show you. And you can have as many line items. All of these templates are pre-built, ready to go, so you can send estimates like this from day one. All right. None of your competitors have a proposal that looks this professional. This will set you apart from your competition. All right. Below all of the line items, we're going to see the total of this entire proposal. All right. We're going to see the payment terms broken down, next steps for that client, any proposed schedule or financing options, and then all of your terms and conditions. All right. This has an e-signature just like DocuSign, so you can send it out to the client and they can sign off on it. All right. Now let's jump back over here to the estimate and see how these are actually calculated. Install pavers is the first line item we have here. When we expand it, you can see all I have to do is plug in the square footage of the pavers, and literally every single thing I have on this paver patio is going to be calculated out for me automatically. Every single material I need, exactly how much of each material I need, is calculated instantly just by plugging in this square footage. All right, you can change the type of paver that you're using. You can import all your pavers from your supplier in here and select the paver, or even search for a specific one. All right, you can plug in different details like how many cuts and waste and excavation, how you're hauling it off, and the base rock. What type of base rock are you using? How many inches thick is that base rock? Your edge restraint, your polymeric sand, how many bags, your delivery fee, sealer. Everything is here for you so you can have an extremely accurate and profitable estimate. All of your materials are laid out. Then you set your net profit on how much you want to make on top of that. All right. We also have the labor tax. It's breaking out all of the labor that goes into this paver patio, and it's showing us the total down here. 72 man hours, just 3 workers for 3 days. All right. You can adjust this manually, or it'll automatically adjust based on things like type of access or the amount of cuts or the depth of the excavation. It's automatically going to adjust to that specific project. All right. It also automatically writes up the client description here, pulling in the square footage, the base, the details. Everything is here for you automatically, so you can send out an estimate in minutes, and it is exactly accurate to your suppliers and your costs. All you have to do is import your materials based on your supplier. All right, and this works for everything: pavers, for turf, for concrete. We have over 200 templates just like this inside of ZevBit, ready to go from day one, so you can start sending estimates. All right, over here we can see the total amount of the job, all of our profit margins, our payment terms. When we send this out to the client, it's going to look like this, and they'll be able to view this proposal here. You'll get a notification when they view it. The client can go through the entire proposal, download as a PDF, and they can sign off on it at the bottom here as the client. All right. What's amazing about this is as soon as they sign that estimate here, it's going to pop up and it's going to say, "We look forward to working with you," and it'll show them the information about the deposit payment. Whatever deposit percentage you have in there, it's going to show that to them. When they click pay, you can have different options with credit card, ACH, check/other. So ZevBit actually integrates with Stripe, QuickBooks, and Square for payment processing. And what's really nice about this is you can have an automatic credit card processing fee. So when the client goes to pay this via credit card, it's going to show them that there's a 3% processing fee that's going to get added on top of the invoice amount. Automatically done for you, nothing you have to do. All right. As soon as they sign, it'll prompt them to pay that deposit, right? And it'll create this client in the invoicing section of ZevBit. So now we can just click into this client here, and you'll see that all of the invoices were automatically created for me based on what I had in the estimate. All right. Let's say the client paid the deposit. If they paid with credit card, it would automatically be moved to paid. If they pay with check, I just come in here and record a check. I got $6,600. Save it, save this, and I can choose if I want to send out a receipt to the client, letting them know we received that payment. Now, this deposit payment has been moved into the paid section here, and when I'm ready, this progress payment when project started invoice is my next one. So I can just come over here to the 3 dots, hit view and send invoice. This is what the invoice will look like, has all the information for the client, and allows them to pay directly through here. All right. So you can manage all of your invoices, payments, and it also syncs with QuickBooks. All right. You can also do change orders here. So let's say a customer changed something halfway through this job. They want to go and add 200 square feet of pavers. I can put 700 here instead of 500. It's going to recalculate everything, and it's going to show me that the change order is 4,625. So this job went up by this amount. All right. And it's going to show you all of your numbers of what changed. It went from 9 tons of base to 13, 550 square feet to 770. And then you can just put in a description, send this out as a change order. All right. ZevBit also has scheduling. So after this project is signed, you can go in there and schedule that job. Just drag out the amount of days, hit new job, select your crew or subcontractor, and then you can easily schedule out this job, either the entire project or specific parts of that project. All right. So now when we save this, we can send out an email to our foreman if we want. We can also send out an email to the client, letting them know that this has been scheduled. You can do all types of different stuff like in here, like putting in a utility locating tasks or estimates and consultations. You can see you have all different types of tasks here. All right, so that's scheduling. You can also upload any photos and files in here as the job's going on and when on that initial estimate. All right, so we got the estimate done. We have scheduled the job. We have any photos and stuff in there. We have invoicing handled. Now the next step is for your employees to start working on that job. And what's amazing about ZevBit is we have this time tracking app right here. So on the time tracking app, all they have to do is hit clock in right here. It's going to show them the projects at your location, scheduled for today. And they can just select the project that they're working on. Now they're clocked into this project here, and it's counting their time towards that job, right? So if they want to upload any photos or files, they can easily do that from here. If they want to see the progress of that job, add any visit notes. Today I completed the excavation. They could put in any details there. And they can also view the crew notes of what was estimated as far as the materials they would need on that specific job. All right. So they can track all their time on which job. You can also have the foreman clocking out the whole crew. They can switch to different jobs, switch to company shop tasks. They can start their break time here, and it'll start counting their break. All right. So there's a ton of different options in here. Easily upload photos, view their timesheets, and over here we can switch over to expenses, and your employees can record any expenses here. So they can put in that they bought road base, and they can select the vendor of where they bought it and upload a picture of that receipt and save this to that specific job. All right. So that's what that looks like on the mobile app side for clocking in and out and recording expenses. All of that will show up over here in timesheets and expenses. So you'll be able to see your employees, and you would also be able to see GPS location of where they were when they were clocking in and out, or any actions they did throughout the day. Right? On timesheets, you can also view this on a weekly level here, and you can see the total amount of hours that your employees worked, any overtime, and you can use this to run payroll. All right. For the expenses, you're going to see all of the expenses that your team recorded here, and all that's going to feed into job costing, where you can view your estimated versus actual information. So you can see I estimated for 16,000 in materials. So far, I've actually spent 11,000 in materials. All right. So it's going to break that all down for you, and you can even see 13 tons of rock. So far, we've used 10 tons of rock. So it'll break everything down for you. It's super detailed, so you know exactly how much profit you actually made on that project. All right. The other thing here is that ZevBit has budgeting included in the software. And this is a huge, huge feature to make sure you're making the profit that you desire. Right? Budgeting allows you to put in all of your overhead expenses and recover those overhead expenses on your estimates. So here in field labor, you list out your employees, how much you pay them, what season, what dates they're working out of the season, average hours per day, all that type of stuff. And then over here in equipment, list out all your equipment, owned and paid off equipment, financed equipment, rental equipment. You can just continue to add lines here. Say you have a cat, you could put in the monthly payment of that, put in the value, current value of it, 75,000, and how much you think you can sell it for after those 5 years. And it's going to calculate your depreciation costs for you. It's going to contribute to your overhead expenses. All right. Here in the overhead tab, we're going to see all of our overhead numbers. So that starts with overhead labor. This is your personal pay, office managers, and then all of your other overhead. Fuel, you put in here how much per month. Maintenance, repairs, tires, advertising and marketing. All right. Your insurance costs, you just list them out here, how much you're spending per month. Your field overhead, subscriptions and softwares, your accountant and bookkeeper, shop rent, office supplies, everything is here for you. You can list everything out, exactly what you're spending on all these overhead expenses, and it's going to show you all of your overhead totals on a monthly and an annual basis. All right. In this case, you can see my overhead is 24,000 a month, 300,000 a year. Right. So we have to recover this overhead through all of the estimates that you're going to do throughout that year. And the way we do that is we have you estimate how much you're going to be spending in materials per month. All right. So you can look at your last couple months or last year, put in your forecasted monthly or annual costs on materials. You can adjust it here per month if needed. Same thing goes on subcontractors. And then you'll have an overhead recovery plan, meaning you're going to take that total amount of overhead and recover that through every single estimate you do. All right. You can either do that through field labor only. It's going to take the total overhead divided by your hours and show you how much your overhead is costing you per hour and your break even per hour. All right. If you want to do weighted overhead recovery, it's going to mark up your materials, subcontractors, and equipment by a certain percentage to go towards overhead, and the rest of it's going to go towards labor. So you can see here my overhead on labor is 29 a man hour instead of 35 if I were to do it only through labor. Right? So this distributes a little bit of the overhead towards your materials and your subcontractor costs to make sure your expected amount of overhead on every single estimate is actually accurate. If you have a job that's low in labor or high in subcontractors, this is still going to be accounting for the proper amount of overhead costs. Next, we get to our sales goal. Now we know all of our costs and we know what our overhead's going to cost us and how we're going to recover that on our estimates. The final thing we have to do is put in how much net profit we want to make on labor, materials, subcontractors, equipment, and it's going to calculate out all of those numbers, exactly what we need to charge per man hour for our labor to recover all of our overhead and make the profit that we're desiring. You can see here my sales goal is $1 million. If I do $1 million in sales, I'm going to have 26% profit or $264,000. All right, so you can plug in these numbers to exactly what you want to make, and this is going to tell you how to get there through your estimates. All right, we break it all down for you monthly. We also show you per month and your average job price, how many jobs you need to sell, how many estimates you need to send, how many leads you need to receive based off of your closing ratios and that type of stuff. All right, so this is an extremely, extremely powerful tool where you put all this in, you activate this budget, and then on every single estimate you do from then on, it's using these numbers to recover your overhead and calculate your profit margins to make sure you're going to actually be profitable in your company. All right. The nice thing about the budget is you can come back here and you can duplicate it. All right, so we can come over here and duplicate that budget, and we can see how is our budget going to change if we add one more employee, if we add a piece of equipment, if we sell this truck, if whatever different options and scenarios you want to lay out, you can create it all here in the budget and see how that's going to actually affect your profit margins at the end of the year. So that's an overview of ZevBit. It's an extremely, extremely powerful tool. We have the team section here where you invite all of your employees, you set up your crews, your roles, what they have permission to within the software. But I would love for you to check this out in a little bit more detail. We have a 14-day free trial that includes all of these features. So you can try it out completely free for 14 days. And you can easily set up your account. Our team helps you onboard everything and set it up so you can send out estimates literally the first day that you sign up. All right. As far as pricing goes, we have 3 different tiers. All right. So our base plan is $97 a month. That includes everything I showed you today, except for the invoicing and payments and the expenses. All right. So those are add-ons here. As you can see, you can add those if you'd like. But the base plan includes everything else: estimating, proposals, time tracking, scheduling, budgeting, photos, everything except for the invoicing and payments and the receipts and expenses. All right. So that's how that works. You can get a complete 14-day free trial here, and then it's $97 a month, or depending on what plan you go with. All right. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We will help you get it all set up. We don't charge any setup or onboarding fees, and we walk you through it one-on-one on a Zoom call to help you get this set up and send out estimates literally the first day that you sign up. All right. We make it extremely easy for you to implement this software and start making the profit that you deserve in your company. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We would love to meet with you and show you more about the system, and we look forward to having you on board.